If you are so into Clint and so over Bo, then what compelled you to open your big fat mouth?
Bo is the father of my son, and he needs to know what kind of a bitch he's exposing my son to.
Nora?
Lindsay? Nora? Lindsay?
You know, I think we'd actually get along pretty well if you would just stop going after all of my ex-husbands.
And you should stop going after mine. Nora? Lindsay?
So, Nora?
Lindsay? Lindsay?
Nora?
I don't want no Lindsay. I want you. And I got you. And now I'm going to introduce you to the real love of my life. Justice.
Get out of my
Careful.
face.
Your fake insanity's starting to show.
Your vindictive obsession with me would make anybody insane.
Here we go.
Lindsay.
Nora. You know what's funny?
Who's your mama?
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Remember the Thanksgiving show? Who's your mama? For the outtakes.
You know what I was watching the other day? First of all, welcome to Hillary B. Smith, my love interest.
We were the hottest couple. We were the hottest couple.
You
What
want
can
to know
I say?
something? We were a super couple on
We
that
were.
show. I think I had more chemistry with you than any guy on the show, and I had some chemistry, let me tell you, with a couple of them. But, you know, wow, it's great to see you.
I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, man. We haven't seen each other, everybody, since the show went off the air, and I went back, you know, to kind of sew up Lindsay Rappaport.
No, I couldn't even get out to your wedding because it was like the 22nd of December. So it was.
Yeah, I know.
couldn't- Yeah.
You know what? That's right. You weren't at my wedding, and how can that be?
No, I know. It was like, wait, what? I can't. How is it? How? There's no. I can't get flights. I can't get out there.
Well, you missed a really good party. That's all
Oh,
I
I
got.
know, but I love the pictures you sent. So I felt like I was there. I felt like I was there, and Lindsay was there, so that I was.
Lindsay was there. Mikey Knight was there.
Yep.
Jeffrey was there. We had such an amazing bunch of people. We kept it kind of small. It was about 60 people, maybe 70.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really great. But, you know, it would have been nice to have you there because
No, I would have loved it.
we were tight back in the One Life to Live days, weren't we?
I have 2 words for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was talking about, there's 2 things. I was looking at a show the other day because I've been looking at stuff on YouTube, and I found the show for the Red Dress Ball. And
Oh my God.
yes, and I was watching it and I was thinking, remember my back? I had just come back from, my lower back went out. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I went to pick
Yeah.
something up and I
Yeah.
collapsed and I couldn't get up or anything for 2 weeks. And I just happened to have been on my vacation and I was supposed to go to Hawaii. And then I went to the theater where I was doing pieces and I went to pick up some programs, a box, and my back went out. And I never had a back problem in my life. And I could not stand up. It was really scary. And I thought, and I was supposed to leave for Hawaii the next day. And of course, that was out. So I was so thankful that the audience wasn't going to hear this. Today, the part of Lindsay Rappaport will be played by, and have it be some outrageously great actress, and I'm home in bed. No, that I didn't want to have happen. That happened.
Well, that's happened to me when my back went out. My back went out so badly, I could not get into the city.
What show?
And One Life to Live.
No.
And the part of the part of Nora Buchanan will be played by, and I can't remember her name, but I remember watching the shows and going, I would have cut that. I would have cut that too. Oh no, I would have cut that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I would have made a different choice there.
Yeah.
You know, I stepped in for Catherine Kelly Lang on The Bold and the Beautiful when she was sick, and it was so funny because I didn't know her, and the part of Brooke Logan at that time was a really sweet girl. I was only there for maybe 3 or 4 shows or something. I don't remember, but I think it was at least that. And I met her years later, and she came up to me. We were talking, and she said, "God, I hated it when you were playing my part." And I said, "I can imagine." I mean, she didn't mean it in a bad way. She was just,
no, it's just you don't. It's your part. It's your part. You
yeah.
get very proprietary over it, and there's a through line that you've done and you've created, and there's an integrity and everything else. And when someone new comes in, they're just going to do what they're told, and and say the words as writ and hand it to them. And I think there was a lot of, "Oh, Sam, you're the best," and "Oh, Sam, I love you more than I've ever loved anybody." And those were the things that I would have cut, because I was very protective of the Bo Nora.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because that truly was a super couple,
Yeah.
And, God, I miss Woodsy.
I talk to him a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I call him every now and then, and he's so funny. Oh my God, don't get him started on, the world today. But yeah, they're still living up in, upstate.
Yep.
And they're trying to get out of there. They've got their place on the market, which is, stunning. Stunning.
Where do they want to move to?
I think the Carolinas. I think South Carolina.
That's interesting, because so many people, when they leave where they've been for so long, want to go to the Carolinas. So you're in Maine right now.
I am.
And so is it cool there, or?
Well, it was cold for July. I mean, we had fires going at night, and I was wearing sweaters and I had boots, and I was, the whole thing.
I love it.
And then it got foggy and rainy, which was like, okay, this isn't July at all. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's 80 degrees, the sun's out, and it's beautiful. And we've got westerly breezes, it's spectacular. So it just takes the warm wind right on out to the water, and it's just spectacular.
So as of this very moment, we are 80 degrees. We are 25 degrees hotter right here, right now, than where you are.
Well, you look 25 degrees hotter, baby.
You are so funny. Well, okay, so the red dress ball, or whatever it was called, and my back is out.
The heart, wasn't it the heart ball or something?
The heart ball. And my back was killing me, because I had just come back from a 2-week vacation, and it was actually the first day I was out of bed, and I read the script the night before, and it's Nora tackles Lindsay to the ground. It's like, oh my God. Do you remember this? And
I do. I remember this.
Ow, ow. And I mean, the stuff that goes on that people don't know behind the camera, but we did it. It was really a fun show. We showed a clip of that on the show that this is on right now. And
Didn't they have me bent over on the ground looking with my ass in the air? It was just, all you saw was this big red blob.
Yes, but I don't recall it being a big red blob, but yes, your ass was up in the air. And then I jump on top of you.
Right.
And sideways. And I think it was supposed to be me underneath, and we changed it at the last minute because my back could not have handled that.
No, and I was digging for, everyone put their truth in.
Yes.
And you put a truth in about, was it changing Bo's baby results? Or
how do you remember that?
I can't remember yesterday or my husband's name, but God damn it, I remember my lines. I'm for stupid things like that. I remember my childhood telephone number, but I don't remember what I did yesterday. It's like all the RAM is full.
Oh God. Full. And that's kind of what it is. There was another thing that I was looking at. I mean, God, we had some really fun stuff. The food fights were always great.
The turkey. It was usually Thanksgiving. Somehow or other, we got fighting food and.
When I injected you with the memory erasing drug.
Oh, yes, and I blew bubbles. Do you remember shooting at 3:00?
Oh, God, you were in a coma. Okay.
I was.
So we have to tell everybody this story because this is the best. So she was in a coma, and it was a long coma. I remember I was so
I was being punished. Don't you remember? I was being punished.
You know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they wrote her, she was a bad girl. And so she was being punished by the writers or I don't remember.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, who cares? And that doesn't matter. I was in a yellow flower room for 8 months,
And you didn't, was it a
but I
coma?
got Ty Treadway.
Yeah, you did, but you didn't have to remember lines for all those months because you were in a coma, and I was so jealous.
Or blocking.
Or blocking. You just had to lay there, right? And you didn't
Wait a
even have
minute.
no
Wait
makeup.
a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. Ready?
Yeah.
You remember my hip?
You. I need water after that one. I'm sorry. Oh,
Remember that I had to get up and run down the stairs. I was like, okay, I haven't.
you hadn't moved in so long your hip went out.
It was like I fractured my pelvis in the train, remember? And Ty dragged me to safety and whatnot. And then I hadn't been up on it, ever. So it was just,
Remember,
I got you laughing so hard, I think you peed your pants.
which happened many times, I will say. I was just, and we would have fives, and everybody would go out for a 5-minute break, and we always had to stay for something. And I think I held my bladder for so many years because we didn't get a break that I damaged myself like forever in the bladder because I didn't realize how bad it was for you. But we never got the 5-minute break for some reason.
No, usually I'm strapped to the bed. I would somehow or other. We were in that garbage disposal. Remember the container was shrinking and.
Oh, that was a great story too. Now, let me just say that during the coma, we would all be acting our butts off, all right? We would just all be really working hard, and she'd be laying there with her eyes closed. And so I was like, God bless it, this girl doesn't have to learn lines. She's still getting paid the same money just to lay there. And all of a sudden, we're in the middle of a scene, and I hear a slight, like, buzzy snore. And I look down, and she's got her mouth open. She fell asleep during the scene. And there was like a spit bubble.
Wait a minute. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Remember?
Something like this. And all of a sudden, cut. And we're going to wake you up.
I woke up with this. She's blowing spit bubbles, for God's sake. I can't do this. She's blowing spit bubbles.
Oh my gosh. I can only tell you. I know everybody that's on soaps has fun. I was talking to Maurice Bernard, and they have fun. And, General Hospital has so many great fun people. They have Michael Knight and James Patrick Stewart and Maurice.
I got to work with him.
Who? James?
James Patrick Stewart. Yeah, I did a little stint on Jeff.
Yeah, he's wonderful, isn't he?
He's wonderful, and he has nothing but beautiful, wonderful things to say about you guys.
Aw, that makes me feel really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they must have a blast over there. But
very fun.
You and I, we always were in trouble. We were always in trouble for something.
For something.
And, I look back now and I think I could have been more grown up when I was on that show. But, it's all part of the journey, right?
I know. I could have too. I look back and just go, but it was fun.
It was fun. I just feel like I could have handled situations better. But, that's what getting older is about, is looking back on your life and going, I didn't handle that very well. And how could I have done better? And, and so, I'm happy for the whole journey. It
is a journey. I mean, if you don't I always tell my kids, don't ever be afraid to make a mistake. Just make sure you own it. Yeah. And you learn from it.
Yeah. True.
Because that's what life is about.
Mm-hmm. No, that really is true. And, life is a class. What are we learning today? What did we learn today? And, we talk about that on the show sometimes. And, how grateful I am to have the opportunity to want to grow, to need to grow, I'll be learning. We will be learning until they plant us, right? I mean, it's right. It's really, just going to adjust there. It's just really the way it goes. And how exciting that I get to actually teach that now and get your fire back is, really just introduce people to their authentic selves. And they're like, hey, so do you feel like there was a point in your life where when I say fell in love with yourself, I don't mean it in an ego way. I mean it in like full acceptance, like who you are, appreciate everything you have and are, and how you're wired, and and all that stuff. Like, was there a particular time, and have you reached that place where you accept yourself and your authentic self so fully that you just feel like, I am so happy to be me. There's no one else I'd rather be. Have you reached that?
I have. I started. Well, you taught me a lot when you did. You taught me a lot. The one thing that you taught me, which was so important, was to smile at everyone and say something nice to everyone, not just people that you work with and stuff, but I mean everyone. And I remember we walked into a bodega and you said something about, well, hey there, handsome, how are you? And his whole face lit up, and you just made his day. And you just made his day. And you turned around and you said, that's what a kind word does. And I was like, and so I started looking at life as a series of kind words.
Yeah, be positive for people and kind. And
be positive for people, be kind to people. And more importantly, I learned, be kind to yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and that was a hard thing to sort of learn. So I would say about 18 years ago, I was put in a position of having to stand up for myself and say, no, I like me. I like who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that was and I've been learning how to do that ever since.
Yeah, it's such an easy fix. I always tell people that changing is easy, because everyone's like, it's so hard, and I'm like, no, it's easy. It's like flipping a light switch on. What's hard is the decision leading up to the change, and looking at yourself and saying, what can I be better? How can I be better? What can I do better? What would make life nicer for myself and everyone in it? So, that's a never ending quest. But what's great about what you were just talking about being kind, spreading kindness, is that it then becomes a very natural thing to do. You wake up that way, you go to bed that way. And you're sincere in everything you say, It's not like you're just saying things to make people feel good. You actually start to see the world differently and people differently. And you realize that we're all, we all need an uplift. And
I think it's really important that you start first thing in the morning with yourself.
Yep. Oh yes, I'm all about that. Well, Yep. So what was your favorite storyline in all the years how many years were you on One Life to Live?
22.
I did not know that.
22 years.
Oh my God.
I was going to do a 5-year stint, and that was it.
Yes.
And then I was going to go back to LA, but 22.
It was a magical show.
Mm-hmm.
It had, I don't know if it was the building or what, but it always had kind of a taint on it for, like people. It was easy to become negative in there. And
I think it was having one entrance and no windows.
I think,
and that was really, really hard. And Gary Donatelli, one of our directors, used to always say, it's imprinted. It used to be a prison where they held the Irish immigrants.
Yeah.
So there was nothing but germ and strang going on down there. And when you're down there, I remember we wouldn't see the sun for the longest time. We'd arrive in the dark and we'd leave in the dark.
Right. And I remember I couldn't go outside for the longest time because I had a stalker. I remember. And
there was only one door in and out. So if you had a problem,
I couldn't leave.
That was it. You couldn't leave the building.
I know. That was weird. It's the only building I ever, and also the building was haunted. Remember?
Yeah.
It was a haunted building, and there's no question about it. I mean, there was many sightings, especially upstairs in the office.
Really? I didn't know that.
Didn't? Oh yeah. Upstairs in the office, many people that worked up there would be in the copy room and copying something, and there'd be somebody they, would see out of the corner of their eye, but they were focused on what they were doing. And they'd look and gone, poof, so it would just be like,
You're kidding me.
No, there was a lot of that upstairs. But in the basement where we were was actually where the Irish immigrants were held, like Gary Donatelli said. And it was a prison. So I think a lot of the energy of that building was, so if you were one of us that had storylines that never ended, they were, we were there.
We slept there.
We slept there a lot. Snowstorms. We would, I loved it. We would, and then I got scared sleeping in my own room because I would hear things.
You come in with me.
I'd sleep in your room. That's right. And then, of course, you spent a lot of nights at our house. You used to call our house the Night Inn.
Night Inn.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we just had such an amazing time. And I look back and I think, it's important now to know that these are the good old days. So here I look back, and there was still so much, I would say, I had to, I had Jessica, I had a Zoom with Alan Locker and Jessica Morris and Jason Shane Scott. And, those two they're having wonderful careers.
Jessica just worked in a project I produced.
Oh, did she?
Oh, she's lovely. She was wonderful in it. Yeah.
And, I remember I would sometimes be hard on her because, she was just so young. And when you're young, you want to party, and that's normal. I never got to do that because I was always on a soap opera from the time I was like 19 or 20.
Well, you were driven. You knew what you wanted to do, and it didn't happen by accident. It was a lot of hard work.
And, I just couldn't. I'm not wired for that, first of all. But second of all, you had to get up at 5 a.m. to be in the chair at 6:30 and blocking and da-da-da-da. And so, I just could not understand how people could do that. But I felt like I was on her a lot about things. And I really, the other day, she said she was grateful for that. And I was so happy and relieved because I was fully prepared to say, I'm so sorry about that. But, it's funny, and you're going to probably understand this, because when you're a parent, when you're a mom to a young actor on the show, so I had 2 kids on One Life to Live.
Right.
You had one.
2. I had 2. I had Matthew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get proprietous about those kids, those actors. It's very weird. It's almost like you feel protective of them in some way. Did you experience that?
Yeah, especially with Ellen Bethia. When I first got there, I was talk about a beautiful person. You looked into Ellen's eyes and you literally felt like you were looking into the face of God, because it was just open and joy and light and beauty. That's what she emanated.
She actually left not too long before I got to the show, so I never got to meet her.
She was just a beauty, a joy, and a beautiful actress. And always, when we were doing the rape trial, it was really important for Susan Haskell, myself, and Nathan Purdie. When they would take cuts and stuff, we had to stay. We had to really stay focused.
Yeah.
And if they had technical issues and stuff, and Ellen would be in the gallery, and you could just look at her, and she just would be like, and she would stay looking right at you and keep you settled and right there.
How beautiful.
So that when they picked up, it was lovely. It was just really lovely.
Well,
and then I had Eddie, and we begged to have Eddie play Matthew. So that was a joy, and we're still in touch. So,
Oh, he's just an amazing guy. And Kristen, I went to see her when I was in New York last. I went to see her in a musical she was doing, and she was incredible. I mean, she's grown as a person, as an actress, as a singer. She just blew me away.
yeah.
But I know that you do have a schedule to keep today, and I just wanted to say, wow, it's
I
so good
know.
to see you.
I know. Stay in touch with me. I know we do, happy birthdays and stuff, but I mean, you've been busy and
Oh, we can do
roaming the countryside, but let's do this.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love seeing people when I actually visit with them. So that's why I got the platform. And then when I started interviewing people, it was like, oh, I can record things. So it's so great. I love you.
I love you too. I miss you. I please give my love to Todd, and I've never met him, but I know that he's,
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
no, never met him.
You don't know what you're in for. You're going to love him. Really.
I know I am. I
Oh.
already,
Okay, now listen. When this whole thing is over, this COVID thing, where we're actually able to join the world and fly and be together, let's make a point of it.
let's do that.
Promise?
I really would like that. I promise.
Awesome. I love you. Have a wonderful time where you're going. And
I love you and I miss you.
I miss you too. You are the best. What an actress you are, and what a human being you are. Thank you so much for being a part of my life.
Well, thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.